A lot of times, in society, they always talk about the R. Kellys of the world and how he wanted to fool with, underage girls. And any man that do that, of course, if it was up to me, any person who do something like that, touch a child or whatever, that would be a capital offense to me. And they need to go the way of capital punishment for, doing that to a child, violating a woman, violating a man, violating a girl, violating a boy. But in society, we have a lot of female predators. And I know I used to do a series on this a while back. And I used to cover actually the teachers, for some years, these female predator teachers that would mess with boys because they're so quick to make it a national story if a man does it to a girl, in which they should. But it should also be a national story if a female teacher is doing it to a child, or just a grown man or grown woman doing that to a child. Now, case in point, this particular brother, he is a teacher, and he discovers that one of his students is involved with a grown woman. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Unpopular opinion, these older women dating these little boys is out of control too. Seeing the student walking down the hallway arguing with his phone, I'm like, man, what's wrong with you? He turned his cell phone and said, see, this is my teacher, I'm at school. And it was an older woman, so I thought it was, his mom or his aunt. Then he hung the phone up or whatever, and he was huffing and puffing. I'm like, what your mom mad about? No, that ain't my mom, Mr. Mitchell, that's my girl. Yo, girl. And she had this little boy so in his feelings that he couldn't even function. I know he didn't do nothing for the rest of the day. So again, we talk about in society protecting our girls as we should, but man, we need to protect our young boys too, especially when we know how much adversity that young black men face in society, and for them to have to mature and grow and be providers, protectors, and be there financially. They don't need that kind of toxic vibe.
Now, I hope this brother, called the authorities, CPS and anybody else they need to call to get this woman put up on some charges. Because, when women are predators, they make that, silent. They say, oh, it's not, in society, it's not the same because she can't, penetrate nothing like a man can do. You know what I'm saying? But there's been plenty of research psychologically when a boy is introduced to intercourse at an extremely early age, especially with a grown woman, they get messed up psychologically. And yes, boys can be SA'd as well. Yes, they can. Taking advantage of a boy messes up his mentality, and you don't know what kind of man you're gonna have out here in society. You see, I remember in my neighborhood, you'll have certain, boys that say, ooh, I got to sleep with that grown woman over there or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They will talk about that. Now, I never engaged in anything like that. But some people in the neighborhood would talk about that. Dating a grown woman or, I don't want no teenage girls. Sure, I like grown women, and you 14 years old, and you talking about going to some woman's house in your neighborhood to sleep with her. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of woman should be locked up, thrown in prison, or how I feel, she should be getting capital punishment, right? Now, I know some of you say, capital punishment. Listen, if you are defending predators, then something wrong with you. It should be capital punishment. Certain crimes in this country, it should go that route. You should. But protect your sons, because a lot of times, we watch out for our daughters, and we should. But we don't protect our boys. We don't protect them. These boys are going to be the next men, and you don't want to create a boy that's going to be extremely promiscuous because of what this grown woman did to him at an early age. Or sometimes what a grown woman do to a boy, it can make him, have a lot of mental health issues. It can make him, could be violent. Sometimes with a lot of people that I've seen over the years and talked to over the years who even part of the LGBT community, a lot of them were, touched or violated by a man or a woman when they were children. And so they got so repulsed with that situation that they started to like the same gender that they're part of, more so as a protection mechanism to feel like, well, they didn't do that to me. They won't, but this one did. Listen, there's a lot of that going on. Talk to people in the LGBT community. A lot of them will actually tell you those stories. That's what happened to them. I remember last time I knew a guy, that told me that, that's what happened to him as a child by a woman. Even R. Kelly mentioned that when he was a child, that he was molested. That's what happened to him. And nobody wanted to go deeper into his situation. They talking about his actions in which they're not right. But let's talk about what happened to him as a child. Where's those women that did that to him? Why aren't they in prison too? That's the thing. We got to get out of that. Oh, because they can't do what men could do. No. We got a society of equality, right? We equal on everything, right? Well, they should be equal on consequences and repercussions. Yeah, I hope that woman going to jail, because a young boy like that do not need to be dealing with no grown woman.